Wisdom of Aristotle. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Happiness depends upon ourselves. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. The one exclusive sign of thorough knowledge is the power of teaching. Man is by nature a political animal. The more you give, the more you have. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. The worst form of inequality is to try to make unequal things equal. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. All men by nature desire to know. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. Friendship is a single soul dwelling in two bodies. The ultimate value of life depends upon awareness and the power of contemplation rather than upon mere survival. No great mind has ever existed without a touch of madness. To avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. Wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow ripening fruit. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The more we are able to endure, the more we are able to achieve. The educated person is one who knows how to find out what he does not know. Fear is pain arising from the anticipation of evil. Quality is not an act, it is a habit. The energy of the mind is the essence of life. In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. Hope is a waking dream. He who has overcome his fears will truly be free. The wise man does not expose himself needlessly to danger. A friend to all is a friend to none. The best friend is the man who in wishing me well wishes it for my sake. The soul never thinks without a picture. It is not enough to win a war, it is more important to organize the peace. Without friends, no one would want to live, even if he had all other goods. Nature does nothing uselessly. It is easy to perform a good action, but not easy to acquire a settled habit of performing such actions. Man is a goal-seeking animal. His life only has meaning if he is reaching out and striving for his goals. Dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in deserving them. Learning is not child's play. We cannot learn without pain. The high-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. The secret to humor is surprise. Misfortune shows those who are not really friends. Those that know, do. Those that understand, teach. The greatest virtues are those which are most useful to other persons. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. To run away from trouble is a form of cowardice, and, while it is true that the suicide braves death, he does it not for some noble object but to escape some ill. Happiness is an activity of the soul in conformity with excellence. The soul is the form of the body. Character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. In poverty and other misfortunes of life, true friends are a sure refuge. He who cannot be a good follower cannot be a good leader. The more we know, the more we realize how much we don't know. All virtue is summed up in dealing justly. What we have to learn to do, we learn by doing. It is unbecoming for young men to utter maxims. Wit is educated insolence. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. It is the mark of a good action that it appears inevitable in retrospect. The soul never thinks without a picture. In a democracy, the poor will have more power than the rich, because there are more of them, and the will of the majority is supreme. A friend to all is a friend to none. We become just by performing just actions, temperate by performing temperate actions, brave by performing brave actions. The end of labor is to gain leisure. Happiness is the settling of the soul into its most appropriate spot. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality that guarantees the others. Wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow ripening fruit. Education is the best provision for old age. All men by nature desire to know. A friend is a second self. Nature does nothing uselessly. The law is reason, free from passion. No great mind has ever existed without a touch of madness. The more you give, the more you have. All paid jobs absorb and degrade the mind. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living differ from the dead. Quality is not an act, it is a habit. He who has overcome his fears will truly be free. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. Friendship is a single soul dwelling in two bodies. You will never do anything in this world without courage. It is the greatest quality of the mind next to honor. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. It is not enough to win a war. It is more important to organize the peace. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. To avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. The one exclusive sign of thorough knowledge is the